You can talk. It takes sound also. Getting ready for the first day on vacation. Fueling up and then headed over to Citi Field to watch the Mets play Detroit Tigers. Enjoy. Hope the Mets win.
For a change.
Let's go Mets.
Watch how far back you go.
All set with Jonathan's kayak. Hopefully we'll get a chance to do some kayaking while up the Hudson, and hopefully some bass fishing while we're up there as well. All right, just finished fueling up. Fueled up with 150 gallons. That should take us for the trip, more than enough to get there and back, hopefully. And we had 733 hours on the motors. This is Manhasset Bay Marina. Actually pulling out of the harbor field in Manhasset Bay. Straight ahead would be Larchmont, Westchester County. And a little further west, we have City Island. Once we get out of here, we'll be heading west. We'll be going under the Throgs Neck and Whitestone Bridges. Okay, now we're out into the Long Island Sound. It's actually still considered the East River here. Actually, once we get past the Throgs Neck Bridge, that's where it turns into the East River. So we have the Throgs Neck Bridge, a little further west is the Whitestone. There's the Manhattan skyline. Here we are approaching Throgs Neck Bridge. LaGuardia Airport. Okay, now we're in Flushing Bay. We have LaGuardia Airport on our west side. Kind of fun watching some of the planes take off and landing right over your head. Well, here's one getting ready to take off right now. And he's up. And straight ahead we have our destination. We have Citi Field. And we'll be pulling into Flushing Meadow Marina. And we'll be staying there for the evening. Here we are now, we're at World's Fair Marina, getting ready for the ball game. Took us maybe about 45 minutes to get here. Took a nice slow ride. And you can see Citi Field in the back there. Here we are after the New York Met game, and they lost 11-3. It was still fun being there, even though they lost. And there's good old pharmacy sitting over there in the marina. The marina emptied out quite a bit. I see most people utilize this marina just to come for the game. It's actually half price. It's just a charge on an hourly rate, so it's not a bad deal. It only costs somebody probably about 15 to 20 bucks to leave it here during a game, which is obviously cheaper than paying parking. Anyway, there's a shot of Citi Field. Hopefully we'll get a better shot as the night progresses, and hopefully it looks a little bit better. There's Jonathan trying to take pictures of me. We'll see how those come out. Anyway, we have the tripod, we have all the photo gear. Hope to get some great pictures. Off to the north, we have LaGuardia Airport, so we're hoping maybe we can catch a couple of planes either coming in or taking off. They've changed direction. They're actually taking off into the wind, which would be toward the south, so they've been coming right over the boat for about the last 2 hours. And here's one taking off as we speak. So this is what we have to get used to listening to for the evening, as well as the sound of the Grand Central Parkway. A little bit different than just listening to the water slapping against the side of the boat. So it's going to be a noisy night, and it's as long as the wind is in this direction, it should be a rather smooth night here in this marina. It shifted direction, so it really smoothed out. We were rolling quite a bit when we first pulled in here early this morning. There's Nil without a camera to play with. She's feeling a little lonely, all by herself. She actually took a couple of great pictures with the iPhone. I hate to say it, but sometimes that iPhone takes really great pictures. You hate to spend all the money on good camera and good equipment when that damn thing takes great pictures. There we go. There's the hello and the attitude. There's Jonathan, hopefully trying to line up the perfect shot. I think what the plan is to wait till it gets dark, do some long exposure shots with the camera, watching the planes take off, and hopefully we can see we should get some good blurs in the sky. So we'll see how that works out. Here's a paddle boat. Paddle boat ride. Looks like there's quite a few folks here waiting to get on there. Still sitting here looking at LaGuardia Airport, but the sun has now gone down and really cast some beautiful colors in the sky, and which is being reflected into the water. So I just figured we'll catch that. Waiting for darkness to come and hopefully grab a few more pictures. Just amazed with the amount of traffic of the planes coming in and out. It appears about every 40 seconds there's either a plane landing or taking off out of here. left Flushing Meadow Marina at 9:05 this morning. Okay, we're outside. We passed by LaGuardia. Now we're rounding Rikers Island. To the right is what's called North Brother Island, and obviously South Brother Island south of that, and the New York City skyline. We have an incoming tide here, so the current is slowing us down quite a bit, but we're just going to be doing trawler speed. Doing about 8 miles an hour. Probably have about a 2 mile an hour current coming against us. So we'll be exiting this once we get underneath the Triborough Bridge. We'll be heading north to go up the Harlem River, and we'll catch you up back then. The thing of note here on North Brother Island, this used to be a hospital. It was actually an annex to Riverside Hospital, which is located in the city. And what they did is here they housed patients who had smallpox, assuming to quarantine them. Doesn't look like the kind of place I'd want to go for a day trip right now, though.
Supposed to be Hudson.
Here's an example of that current we're talking about. Okay, now we're going through what's called Hell's Gate. This is the Hell's Gate Bridge, followed by the Triborough. The current here is it's about 3.4 miles an hour is what is slowing us down. We're just taking a nice slow ride. Up ahead here, we'll head to the north and we'll catch on up to the Harlem River. We'll be going against the current. I guess it's about a 9-mile ride up there. So, but it's nice, easy water. Once we get through that and underneath the Spuyten-Duyvil Bridge, we'll be going up to we'll be in the Hudson River. With that, the current should be bringing us for a nice, easy ride going all the way up to Poughkeepsie. That's going to be the next stop today. High tide at Poughkeepsie is 5:35, so we'll be running the current all the way in. And again, the New York City skyline. You see the Empire State Building tucked in the back there. Here's a little indication on how rough the water, or how strong the current is. Looks like a little waterfall occurring there. Anyway, that's the Triborough Bridge. And over this way is going to be the beginning of the Harlem River. And I don't recall how many bridges there are, but there's quite a number of bridges, ranging in lift bridges, swing, and the only one that we need to be opened is the Spuyten-Duyvil, which is the train which carries Amtrak running upstate New York. So we'll have to call in to request an opening for that. Hopefully there won't be a busy schedule for the train at that point, so we can get a quick opening. The first bridge we're encountering on the Harlem River is the Ward Island Bridge. It's a lift bridge. Self-explanatory in how that operates. Obviously, we now have the current pushing us, so we went down to a low of 4.9 miles an hour, and now we're up to 8.4. So kind of feel like a free ride, and we'll catch this ride for the next 9 miles. Well, here we are. That's the Spuyten-Duyvil Bridge. Obviously a swing bridge where Amtrak or Acceler Express goes through. I guess we're just kind of lucky. The bridge is in the open position, so we can just navigate through. And then we'll be making a right-hand turn, heading up north. And that's called the Palisades, straight ahead of us. You know, from here forward, there'll be quite a bit of cliffs and everything. Okay, this view is looking north up the Hudson River. Obviously, we have a great current in behind us. It just actually picked us up about 2.5 miles an hour, so we're doing just shy of 10 miles an hour at about 1,600 RPM. There's some prime real estate
been a while. We just started picking up some speed. We were doing a 10-mile-an-hour cruise. Probably now we're just figuring we'd open it up to about 25 miles an hour.
That's Indian Point Power Plant. It's a nuclear power plant located. What town is this?
Coming up to me.
Just about Verplank, New York. You can see there's a law enforcement officer sitting out there monitoring a perimeter around the facility. We've been here before, and probably about 6 years ago, and we did notice, about 5 years ago, noticed the same thing. So they are keeping a watchful eye on the power plant. Now that we've passed Indian Point Nuclear Plant, we're heading on up toward Bear Mountain. This is actually the Bear Mountain Bridge. Here on the left, we're going to be passing by West Point Military Academy. Obviously, we're in the Catskill region at this point. We have about 25 miles to the destination of Poughkeepsie, and at this pace, it should just take us about another hour. Well, 6 hours and 5 minutes since we left World's Fair Marina. We're finally pulling up. That's the Mid-Hudson Bridge. And the marina that we'll be staying in overnight is Shadows Marina. Pretty sure that's going to be it there. We have to contact the dock master, and he'll give us directions as far as docking is concerned. Looks like it's just starting to rain again. We've had off and on rain the entire trip. So, touch base again tonight. All right, it's Tuesday. I guess it's maybe about 12:30. We're just going to be taking a walk across the Mid-Hudson walkway.
No, you're going to have to delete that.
Okay, what's the name of it?
It's the walkway over the Hudson.
That's the walkway over the Hudson. Anyway, figure we'll take it. We have Bishop waiting for us at the other side, and he'll be our private cab service for today.
It's the long world.
That's also the longest pedestrian bridge in the world. So here we go. I guess it's about 1.28 miles, and I don't see that's going to be much of an issue.
Lunch is waiting on.
I was just thinking, you know what's strange? We're here on the railway bridge, and that would be the Mid-Hudson Bridge, looking south. And off to the distance would be the marina that we're currently staying at. Just passed by a sign here. I thought it was quite amusing. I guess they're really trying to assist people who may come up here to take their own lives. Not sure if you could read that. It says, for mental health emergency use only, push the silver button. The phone is here to save lives. Please do not tamper with them. Kind of interesting. Have fun. Make the Indians proud.
That's Native American.
I know, that really wasn't PC, was it?
tornado?
The happy wanderer looking to discover a new island.
Snagged.
Okay, just finished dinner, and we noticed the fish were jumping all over the place. So after about 45 minutes to an hour, finally
Finger in his mouth?
I don't know, that's what I'm looking to say.
finally caught a catfish.
You want a towel?
I don't know if you could put your fingers in their mouth.
Yeah, they don't. They noodle with them.
Well, I don't know if they noodle with these guys. Oh, don't hurt him.
Trust me.
You want a towel?
No,
Let me get your
don't.
rag.
There's a rag right in the shower box there if he wants one.
I just don't know. They're slimy as hell.
This one's got.
They'll look for that's fine to
diesel
use.
on it. You don't want to do that to him.
Well, it's 1:26, and we're just pulling out of Shadows Marina, headed on up to Shady Harbor Marina in New Baltimore. Crew was down there getting lines ready and getting the boat ship shape.
Oh, that's so cool. Hold on, now, because it's going to be waiting for that. Here's Catskill Creek, where Jonathan and I have been about 4 years ago, right before he went to college. They experienced some devastating losses during Hurricane Irene. Most of the marinas there were totally wiped out and destroyed, and the boats were literally just going down, floating down the river, and Sea Tow was there salvaging them. There's a bridge up ahead, Rip Van Winkle Bridge. Jet skiers trying to come in behind us, riding the wave for a while. Otherwise, it's the only waves they find in this river, that's for sure. Regal Bridge. Past Catskill Creek. Not sure which town we're in, but we'll follow up. Here's as a tanker coming downriver, and I know there's quite a large barge coming in behind us. I'd like to see the two of them negotiate some of these turns. Figured we'll cut it down to about whole speed. As we've been traveling, most of the trip we've been doing about 20 to 21 miles an hour, just to conserve some fuel. Try to make this trip on one tank of fuel if possible. Right now we have probably about 10 or 11 hours on this tank, and it looks like I've probably used only about a quarter of a tank, probably not even at this point. So otherwise we're faring quite well with fuel. The next stop where we'll be staying, they do have diesel fuel for us, as well as a pump out for the waste tank. So, you know, maybe we'll just add a few more gallons on. Well, here we are at Shady Harbor Marina. Little go around. I guess they have the bathhouse, the pool, barbecue area, ship store, groceries, anything else you may need. Right on the river, but a whole lot more protected than we were at the previous marina. We no sooner pulled in and all of a sudden the wind started kicking in. The current is now moving north. We were against the current the whole entire trip. The original plan was to be going at trawler speed, but we decided just to hustle it up a little bit. It was getting very, very hot in there, going at 10 miles an hour. So we bumped it up between 18 and 22 is what we did for most of the trip. So, you know, they have gas, we'll fuel up here, or at least just top the tanks off. So Jonathan and I just washed the boat. Hopefully it's looking a little bit better than what it was. The one good thing, it's being out there in the water, it's fresh water, so it's, you know, not salty, and it actually looks pretty good. And of course he's got to help his mother aboard. All right, it's 12:43 Friday afternoon, just pulling out of Shady Harbor Marina. We had a great experience there, lots of nice folks. Great facilities, got to use the pool all day yesterday. Just as we're getting ready to pull out, we noticed a barge coming by. And we should pan around, we'll catch a picture of that. Good sized barge. I think what the plan is going to be is he's probably running somewhere around 10 miles an hour, which is probably what our goal is going to be. So what we'll do is we'll probably just, once he gets up to cruising speed, we're just going to tuck in right behind him and just take a nice slow cruise. You know, it should take us about somewhere around 3 hours to get where we're headed. We decided not to ride up on plane, just to, you know, save on fuel. So we'll just enjoy the slow trip.
Here we are at Roundout Yacht Basin in Kingston, New York. Okay, it's currently 8:56 Sunday morning. Just pulling out of Kingston Yacht Basin. Yacht Club, not Yacht Basin, I'm corrected. Anyway, we had a good rainstorm here last night, I guess probably somewhere around 2 in the morning. Really coming down quite hard. So hopefully it'll clear the weather up for most of the trip. You know, the sky down in the southwest looks a little dark, so they're predicting rain. But, you know, take a nice slow ride. Everything should be just fine. Say hello, Nell.
Hello, Nell.
Say hello, Johnny.
Hello.
You have about a mile ride up the river. The only thing we want to watch for today, I guess after a heavy rain, they do have quite a bit of debris in the water, so we're just going to keep a special outlook for those. Look out for those, I should say, not outlook. Anyway, we'll catch back up on the Hudson. Here's the town of Kingston. And unfortunately, we're leaving today because they're having a, I think it's called a Hoopla Day. It's an Irish festival that continues, well, considering the Irish, probably going all night long. And they said beer and everything just runs continuously. So that should make for fun on the waterways later on tonight. Anyway, unfortunately, we need to pull out, and we'll be missing the festival. And just a little further north, you have the Hudson River Maritime Museum. It's something we did not attend. I guess we were kind of advised that there's kind of one boat in there, one tugboat, then a couple of other little boats, so it might not really be worth it. So, so we opted out for that. We never got into the town of Kingston last night. The weather started getting nasty, and it started raining, so we pretty much just watched Frasier on Netflix all night, ad nauseum. Anyway, that was pretty much the evening. Any other interesting sights, we'll try to point them out. The entrance to the Hudson River and Kingston. Here's a look south down the Hudson. Looks like we have quite a bit of fog. But looks like visibility is at least 2 miles, maybe even a little bit more. So it shouldn't be any problem at all. Open for empty waterways today, considering today is Sunday. I'm sure most people are at their destinations enjoying the weekend. Unfortunately, we need to be back because this guy here has got to go to work tomorrow. Here's the Kingston Lighthouse, marking the entrance of the river. All the way down there, I don't know if it can be made out, that's the Kingston Bridge. Kind of tough to visualize that. This is the part of the day we look most forward to. Jonathan's sandwich, looks like eggs, tomatoes, turkey bacon, whatever may be on there. He has 2. I get 1. I guess the captain gets better privileges than the first mate. And Nell's sitting there with her Cheerios and bananas. Here's the Mid-Hudson walkway that we had filmed earlier that we had walked across. I think it was 1.28 miles across the Hudson River. And just south of that is the Mid-Hudson Bridge. And once we get by there, we'll be passing by Shadows Marina, which is where we spent 2 evenings. And here we have a blowboater who decides he wants to go right in front of us. them up a bit. And there's Shadows Marina.
No, it's not. That's not Shadows.
Oh, sorry, not Shadows. On the other side of the next bridge. All right, here we're approaching the Newburgh Beacon Bridge. Looks like the sky's a little overcast, but checking the radar, the weather radar, looks like the weather is still south of us quite a bit. And doesn't look like there's any storms, probably about the next 20, 25 miles, and hopefully by the time we get there, they'd have passed. Otherwise, nice smooth ride.
Yeah, I don't know.
Now it's 12:30, just passing through Haverstraw Bay, approaching the Tappan Zee Bridge. Another few miles down the river from the bridge, we'll enter the Harlem River. I guess we'll just kind of hope the Spike and Dival Swing Bridge is open for us. Otherwise, we'll be swinging around Lower Manhattan. South of the Tappan Zee Bridge, about 9.5 miles from the Harlem River. And I guess Bill decided that it was lunchtime for all of us. So these are the sandwiches that we've been feasting on for the last week.
Except I don't have potato salad.
Here we go. Just flip the cover off. And I guess we have turkey on pita, coleslaw, cheese, and bread and butter pickles. And let me tell you, we're enjoying the hell out of them. But I understand this is the last day of them. So thank goodness the vacation's coming to an end, otherwise we'll have to go shopping. Here we are in the Harlem River. We just had to wait maybe about 15 minutes for the Spike and Dival Bridge to open. We realized they do a 2-hour prior request. So we'll keep that in mind for the future. And here we're just showing the examples of all the different types of bridges that are located across the Harlem River. There's another bridge that's on a turntable. I believe the next one is turntable as well. Then I think there's a lift bridge.
All right, we got a new narrator here. There's Yankee Stadium over to our left. You can see maybe the score. Looks like a nothing ball game right now. All right, there's Yankee Stadium. We'll catch up at Citi Field. Out.
Okay, new narrator. The other guy got thrown off. This is an example of a lift bridge. It has a vertical clearance when it's closed of 25 feet. And when it is open, it provides 135-foot clearance. Most of these bridges here are requiring 4-hour notification prior to opening. So more than likely, you're not going to see an awful lot of taller boats or certainly sailboats in this area. And here comes just another boat just decided to run up on plane underneath the bridge. Here's another example of a lift bridge. There are a total of 13 bridges going down the Harlem River. I believe the river is 9 miles long.